Wife cheated and is now trying to justify her reasons why. My wife and I have been together about 12 years and married for 6 years. We own a home and have 2 children together. When we got together she was 19 and I was 24. I thought we had a good marriage. We go on trips, concerts, camping, etc. We rarely fight. Honestly, one of the only things I would have said is a problem is our relationship's life is a bit lacking. She takes Prozac and one of the side effects is low relationships drive. So we have relationships about once a month. She's usually only hot around ovulation time. I've had a vasectomy, so no worries about unwanted pregnancy. I have learned to live with once a month. But realistically I would rather have relationships at least once a week. In the past 6 months or so she's been going out to the bar with friends on the weekends. Not even every weekend, more like every other weekend. I've gone with a few times and we had fun. Usually though I will stay home with the kids so that we don't need a babysitter. I've been trusting of her. About 2 months ago she was out and didn't come home at bar close. I texted her and asked what's up, need a ride? And she said she was at a party at someone's house after the bar. She didn't get home until 8 a.m. and said she wasn't feeling well and passed out there. I thought that was odd, but choose to believe her. Then she's also been purchasing lingerie. She's sent me like 2 sexy pictures in her lingerie, but there are a few outfits I've never even seen her in. So I was starting to get suspicious, but then I thought maybe she's just trying to spice up our relationship's life. Well, yesterday she left her phone out and I snooped on the album. And surely there was several sexy pics I've never seen. I know she uses Snapchat a lot, I don't have Snapchat myself. So I checked her Snapchat and found weeks worth of pictures and messages to 2 different guys. She had lingerie pictures and messages about hooking up. One of the guys she has been flirtation doesn't actually say anything about them hooking up, it looks like she was just sending him pictures. But I only had a limited time to look. But the other guy, they were messaging about relationships. And planning another meetup this weekend. I closed the phone there. There may have been more than those 2 guys, but I didn't want her to catch me and also, I got all the evidence I needed. I was shaking furious. I planned to wait to confront her, but I couldn't hold it in. I held it in until after the kids were in bed. I told her what I found. And she got mad at me for invading her private messages. To provide context, I leave my Facebook and Twitter signed in on the computer. She can, and does, read my messages whenever she wants. So that argument doesn't hold weight. I said she's just mad she got caught. I had to leave and go for a walk to cool down. When I returned we had a talk. I told her that I trusted her and she betrayed that trust. I can never trust her the same again. She said that she cheated because she's unhappy and she's been with me since she was 19 and she wants to find out who she is. I told her, that is when you ask for divorce or separation. Not just go behind my back. She also said that it wasn't that bad. It was just flirtation. I told her that she was sending inappropriate photos. She said no. I showed her a screenshot and she said, that's not nude, that's topless. Then I mentioned the messages from the guy about busting on her and how they're meeting again this weekend. She said they didn't really have relationships, only kind of. How do you kind of have relationships? It's either you did or didn't. She said she's allowed to make mistakes. I told her this is not a mistake. Getting drunk and fooling around once is a mistake. Messaging someone for weeks on end and planning meetings is not an accident. So many thoughts in my head. I'm thinking about divorce, but it's so hard. I can't really afford a lawyer. I don't know what will happen with the house and custody of the kids. I'm also thinking of marriage counseling. I don't know if this is fixable. If she would have told me she was that unhappy, I could have tried to change or whatever she needed. But she never even told me. Then she said she doesn't want to leave me and wants an open relationship. I'm not a ladies' man. I told her, so you think that would be fair? She would be hooking up every weekend and I would be lucky to score once a year outside the marriage. That was such a ridiculous idea that it's almost laughable. I even told her if she seriously wanted to explore her sexuality we could have tried to swing with another couple. I would have considered that if she told me that our relationship would be over otherwise. She also told me that she gets some excitement from sending sexy pics and getting a reaction out of people. She said that I look at nude women online and she never complained. I told her looking at a nude model online and messaging a local guy for hookups is totally 100% different. Another thing is her Prozac. How does it kill her relationships drive to the point that we only have relationships once a month, but she's hot enough to seek more relationships outside the marriage? I am looking to set up an appointment. But for a divorce lawyer or a marriage counselor? *edit to add. I reached out to the guy she's been hooking up with and got no response. I was able to find his address from property tax records. I went over to his house and told him, "You don't know me, I don't know you. Stop all communication with my wife and we won't have any issues going forward. But if you keep interfering with the well-being of my family then things can get ugly." He agreed to stop contacting her. Then I told her I went to his house and she said I crossed the line. I crossed the line, not the cheaters. Whatever. *edit to thank everyone. I read every response and I reached out to 2 close friends. It's unanimous that I should file for divorce. And the reasoning makes sense. She's not remorseful and gaslighting me into thinking that I need to improve to fix this. And she did try talking me into an open marriage so she can just continue cheating. Comments. 1. She wants relationships, just not with you. She wants your financial resources and free babysitting while she makes her way through all the guys at the bar. Your old marriage is over, you can be an afterthought or an ex-husband, your choice. 2. You're doing everything wrong. Waste of time to reach out to affair partners. They owe you nothing and certainly won't grant it. There is a 100% chance this ends in divorce. She lacks remorse for her actions and no longer sees you as anyone other than the father of her children. She no longer has any romantic interest in you. The open relationship is complete gaslighting. She absolutely had relationships with that guy and is lying about the details. This is now a toxic environment for your children. Implement the 180 and start gray rocking. Plan for divorce. She shows zero remorse for her actions and no empathy for your feelings. You can't even be her friend right now. Y'all are co-parents figuring out the divorce and how to separate. Don't waste any more time communicating with a remorseless partner and start planning a life without her. 3. Mate, listen carefully, there is zero chance this can work out, and I mean zero. Listen, I read countless stories like yours and they always end the same. Either you stay but you end up becoming depressed, barely functional, and the relationships ends anyway because the cheater is selfish and doesn't care about you, only what you provide. Your kid become affected by what he saw in his childhood and will most likely have problem in the future with his own relationships, etc. Or you divorce, you will be sad for a couple of months, but if you follow the right step you could be happy in a year or year and a half. Your kid will be okay with divorced parents because divorced parents are better than parents you wished were divorced. Your wife will either realize her mistake and become depressed or will continue her lifestyle and never be really happy in a relationship. Go to a lawyer even if you lose a bit of money, as long as it's not in the tens of thousands, it's okay. I rather lose 10K now than years of my life and then lose 10K. I'm not in the US, don't know how much your lawyers cost on average. Now to move on. Cut her off everything. If you manage to keep the house then change the furniture or at least the layout, burn the bed. Mandatory. Even if you have to sleep on your sofa, it's better psychologically. Use a co-parenting app and let your lawyer handle everything. No contact and gray rock are mandatory. If you can't avoid contact, then gray rock. Then find good ways to distract yourself: food, gym, friends, family, etc. Rebound relationships is 50-50, depends on people, but I really think you should do it or you will be stuck. Find a way to evacuate: talking, combat sport, walking, etc. Therapist could be great. Meet 3 or 4 and choose the one you believe would really help you move on. Try to force yourself to be open to the world or you will close yourself and it will be harder to move on. 4. The Prozac only kills the relationship's drive for you. Honestly, this is not worth the effort. She is getting attention and loving it. And you are right, open marriage means she gets banged every weekend and you babysit. Swinging? Do you really want to see your wife having relationships with another man? Will you stand by not having relationships with another woman? Get a lawyer. No, you writes. Marriage counseling is useless when she is still active in an affair. 5. She is shining you on. She's married to you and sending inappropriate messages to someone else? No way. Kind of have relationships? I have never believed in marriage expiration dates, but it sounds like yours reached it. Time to go gray rock and see what happens. If that doesn't work, divorce time. Sorry man, but she is not your friend or wife right now. Went through it myself years ago and restarted with another woman, been happily married for 38 years. 6. Whoa. She is cheating on you right and left. She has shown no remorse and in fact trying to get your approval to cheat via an open marriage. She has told you she is unhappy and her intentions are to continue to cheat. She wants you as a home husband and babysitter and men on the side. You can accept this or take actions. Get an STD checkup and tell her you are getting the children DNA. I suggest speaking to a lawyer to see where you stand.